What you guys doing?
Well, we're doing our next 406 Tech Talk about being safe on the web, which you are not being right now.
Well, I'm just hanging out. This thing was obviously made for fun, so why not use it for fun? Right?
Well, there's lots of things that are designed for
I'm
lots
good!
of purposes. If we use them correctly, they can be fun.
You don't approve of the way that I'm using this?
No, not so much.
Thanks.
No. Yeah.
See, I have to have people who look out for me and help take care of my safety when I don't necessarily do it correctly. So, should I get down?
Yes.
And when we say hangout, it's a different type of hangout.
Yeah, this is not a Google hangout.
Not a Google hangout. Yeah, that's
So when we're talking about actually being safe on the web, we don't literally mean being safe on the web. And I was poorly modeling, but it's real. It's a real thing, isn't it? And we talk about it a lot. And it's probably, I would say, one of our most requested topics of support that people need across the district as they're looking to keep their kids safe on the web. They come to us looking for resources a lot.
Yep. It's definitely can be an interesting place out online. We can control what happens in our classroom, but once we get our kiddos out online, we have to watch and be mindful of what they're doing. So.
Yep. What are your thoughts about teaching internet safety to your kids?
Oh, I think that maybe parents are a little bit too lax sometimes. You maybe trust your kids are doing the right thing when perhaps maybe they're not, and you should be checking it. So
Does it worry you when your kids are on their phones or online?
It worries me a little because our daughter's really responsible and we've just kind of let her do whatever because we trust her. But then our younger son, I worry a little bit about that maybe we should be monitoring a little more.
Do you think that if you did say, I'm going to check your phone randomly, would he get offended?
He wouldn't like it. I don't think either one of them would like it.
Why do you think internet safety as a concept is a big deal?
I think it's a big deal because I think most kids on the internet don't really know what they're doing. And like, for example, they could go talk to some random stranger they think is their age, but that could be really dangerous for them and cause a lot of harm to them and really affect them. But so I think parents should like try to monitor what they do.
Does it make you mad when your parents try to monitor what you do on the internet?
Well, no, because I don't really have anything to hide. But I feel like lots of kids might, especially my age, so.
As a parent, do you get nervous?
Oh, heck yeah. Especially with the online gaming systems as a parent. That's what makes me the most nervous.
Do you have conversations at home with your son about?
Yeah, I think he gets tired of them. But absolutely we do.
Yeah.
The biggest one is just if he ever sees anything or somebody tries to contact him, he immediately has to let me know.
I feel like with my kids, and I have one who's much older and one who's little, but I feel like there's this kind of implied sense of privacy when kids have their own devices or access to their own devices at home, especially, but also at school. And so I know one of the things that our internet safety gurus, that Officer Earl Campbell, recommend doing random device checks, and why not do that?
I love that idea.
When we're at school, how do you guys help teachers to make sure that their students are safe online?
Well, lots of different things to talk about if, like when kids are uncomfortable, if they see something they're not quite sure about, to ask, tell a trusted adult. When talking about passwords, things like that, keeping those pretty strong. We have a lot of things in place to help keep our network safe, and a lot of people who do that. So.
Should we meet one of them?
Yeah.
Let's meet Shannon Schaaf. Tucked behind an array of computer monitors on the third floor of the Lincoln Center sit our network managers, whose job is to both protect and connect us on the internet. I recently hunted down one of them to ask him to explain how his job affects all of us in the district.
My name is Shannon Schaaf. I'm a network manager for Billings Public Schools. What my job consists of is I do set up, operate, maintain the switch network, which consists of all the actual physical switches throughout the district, which we do have a few hundred of them. I also work with a lot of servers. I set up, operate, and maintain servers, operate and use the Ruckus controller, which is for wireless. I do the network in all 32 buildings, which consist of, like I said before, like any type of switches. That's running wires. I do run wires, or I get the planning for the wires to get run. I also do phone systems, and that's actually going to schools, troubleshooting anything that's on our side and not charter side. The other one I do is DVR systems. And the DVR systems are the camera system of the school district, which We run about 12 to 14 DVRs in our district, and we have over 400 cameras.
The network manager's biggest job is maintaining the fine balance between connection and protection.
What we do on our district is we do have a firewall and we have a filter. The firewall actually blocks hackers from getting in the network, also blocks a lot of the viruses from getting in the network, and Trojans and etc. It also does the other part of anything from our network that's an affecting machine or something like trying to get outside the network and affecting somebody else's, actually blocks that, which is good for us because we can see that. I mean, it's not good, but we can see it, we can get out the machine, shut it down, and fix any virus or problems it has on it. That's kind of what the firewall is. It just keeps intruders out, anything bad out. The other one is a filter. Very important. The filter actually filters any website you go to. It's actually going to see where you're going. It's actually going to look at it and say, can you go here or can you not go here? And you're going to know, you'll get this big barracuda sign that says, you can't go here. It does block a lot of stuff because kids can't go to a lot of places that even staff can go to because they're kids and there's requirements we have to meet that they can't go there. Even with staff members, there's requirements even for me or anybody else, you can't go to those websites. The other thing with and trying to get the usability is the key catch, trying to weigh the two with that. And we have to create the usability, especially for software programs, and that includes all the software programs we have in the servers downtown. Also, we have a lot of software that's used off websites. That's what we consider outsourcing. There's a lot of education programs that are actually web pages outside. Scholastic holds a bunch of them. We're able to log on to them. Kids do a lot of stuff, which also comes with the security side of stuff too, because we have to ensure before we purchase the software that they're actually secure, and especially have a kid log in and their credentials. Got to make sure that stuff's secure.
So from this expert's point of view, what's one of the things you can do to keep yourself and your students' information safe when online?
Strong passwords. That's the biggest key. Don't make a basic, even sometimes people make basic password. You want to make a phrase. Make about an 8-character phrase. A lot of people want one password for everything. So they go to their bank account, they go to school, and they got some other websites they go to, they log into some type of place they're buying stuff from, all the same password. Very insecure, because if one place ever gets hacked, let's say like Home Depot or something gets hacked, and you use the same password everywhere, that means they have access everywhere you've ever been. But if you change your password, you have different ones. It's hard to remember. Like at home, I got a lot of passwords, different places to go to, but everyone's different.
Needless to say, managing a network for over 16,000 students and over 3,000 staff members is a full-time job.
Just to let everybody know out there, we do everything that we can to try to keep everything secure. And all of us admins down here do our hardest to do what we can to help them. And if they have problems or concerns, they know to call us, and our door's always open.
So do you guys keep safe passwords?
Not as safe as I should, I don't think.
What do you think you would do to make it safer?
Probably just have more passwords instead of my normal 12, I guess.
I try to rotate through and use like a pattern and just little bits and pieces from different pieces of information to mix it up. So,
Yeah, one of the things that Shannon and I were talking about after our interview was, you know, there's a couple ways you could do it. Keep your passwords written down somewhere, but then what if somebody finds that piece of paper? So lock that piece of paper up in a safe place, or have some kind of pattern like you were saying, where when you go to a specific site, you take a part of the phrase from that site mixed with maybe some numbers and punctuation, and you do that for every site that you go to so that it helps you to remember your style of password.
And even with hints, you can make the hint something only you know, you know, the last 4 digits of that one thing, and okay,
Right.
just to bring that to your remembrance. I was talking with a class the other day, and just also remembering to log out when we're sharing devices and
Yes.
using computers all over the place. You know, I compared it to just leaving your key in your front door, you know, when you leave, just letting it hang there. And so we need to be just as mindful to log out and sign out of things.
That's a
to
good
keep
point.
that information protected.
Yep. And as we are online as adults, as teachers, as parents, that we're always modeling that safe behavior online of logging out correctly. And, you know, when we see something that we don't think seems safe, that we're, whoa, I need to get out of this. Because otherwise our kids are never going to learn that it's not just a big deal for them, it is for all of us.
Yeah. And teaching, I think, you know, we'll talk probably later about this, but just doing research and using proper search terms. There's a lot of words that have multiple meanings, and younger students don't always understand that, so we can model and talk about those ways to refine those searches and just be safer as we get out on the web.
I think too, we talk about internet safety, but it's actually just a small piece under the bigger umbrella of digital literacy. And so that whole digital citizenship of not only keeping track of your safety online, but also being mindful of how you conduct yourself online. So I asked Josh Dyba's class, there's 5th graders over at Miles Avenue School, what those two terms meant to them. What does it mean to be safe on the internet, and how to be a good digital citizen?
Let's take a look.
A good digital citizen is someone who doesn't make fun of people online.
If you're a good citizen person, you don't bully people online or talk bad about somebody. You just be nice and use kind words.
When you're talking to someone, not asking them personal questions by themselves to make them feel uncomfortable. Don't ask them questions that you wouldn't want them asking you.
No, I would want to be nice to the person so they didn't want to do something mean. You say only positive things to the people that you're talking with. Not sharing any personal information and not cyberbullying.
Using a good password for everything you use on the computer.
You shouldn't say any mean stuff to someone on the computer or your phone. You don't have to be inappropriate. You can be appropriate, and you don't have to be rude, or you don't have to be cyberbullying. Being nice to people, and let's see. When someone is on like a social media website or something, they be nice or maybe stop someone from getting bullied. Don't post anything bad online. Maybe if two people are in a fight, maybe you could prevent that from happening.
If someone starts talking to you and they're asking you questions about yourself, like where you live or anything like that, just stop talking to them or leave the site.
Online by not talking to other people that you don't know and not agreeing to go with them to the destination they want to meet you in.
On Facebook, don't friend anybody that you don't know. And make sure your passwords are extra secure. And if anybody asks you if you want to meet up, you go tell a parent or a trusted adult. Not talk to strangers that you don't know. Just only talk to the people that you know, that I know. If it's asking me my personal information, I would close my computer or cell phone, and I would tell an adult or guardian. To be safe online, you only talk to people you know, and let your parents know when you're talking to someone online.
Not talking to people that you don't know and using capital letters and numbers for your password.
Shouldn't tell your friends your password, or they can hack into your computer. You can change your passwords into ways that people don't really know. You can do Miles Avenue, but instead of putting just letters, you can put numbers too that look like other letters in Miles Avenue.
If you don't know someone from online, just close your computer or phone and go to a parent and let them see, and they can just delete it or something like that.
Don't talk to strangers, and don't be rude online to be bullied. Avoid talking to strangers. You don't talk to strangers in the real world, you don't talk to strangers online.
So another interesting thing that's happening is the use of social media in education. We take part in a Montana Ed Chat, which is a fantastic opportunity for professional development. But it made me realize we have teachers who are actually using social media platforms like Twitter with their classes. And I sat down with a couple of them this week to ask, what in the world were you thinking, and how do you manage that to keep them safe, but also what do you have them doing, and how do they conduct themselves online? So.
I'm Tracy Piltz at Beartooth Kindergarten.
Sally Bishop, Broadwater Kindergarten.
We use Twitter in our kindergarten class. We use it to connect with parents, and we also use it to connect with other kindergarten teachers around the globe. Once we started working on Twitter, you can quickly just start searching and finding other kindergarten or first grade classes that want to connect. So it was really easy. We also were part of the Global Read Aloud project, and so that was a great way to find other classes that were really wanting to connect. We began, I used some of the other class sites kind of as a model for what I was hoping to do. I looked at what some other teachers were doing with their students, and I really loved just how they were sharing kind of some learning thoughts. So we decided to start doing that maybe as a wrap-up in midday or at the end of the day. We would take a minute to stop, and I would just record whole group on Twitter some of their thoughts, and then we always put their name by it. So if it was Sally's thought, we'll write Sally beside it, and they just thought that that was really cool. And then from there we started doing things like a mystery number, where we would use a hundreds chart and put a mystery number out there, and then other classes can kind of chime in and guess what our number is. So it kind of grew from there. We made applesauce the other day, and we had found another kindergarten class in the Midwest who had made applesauce. So we chatted back and forth all day about making our applesauce and what the process was and what it smelled like and tasted like and all those different observations. We're trying, whenever we connect with another class, we're trying to pull up a map and kind of look at where that other class is on a map. Some of the classes that we connect with on Twitter, we've also Skyped with, and so then we're able to ask questions about where they live and do some comparisons and that sort of thing. So to an extent they do, to as much of an extent as 5-year-olds really understand the greatness of the world around them. What we're doing right now is whole group, so I'm monitoring everything that we're doing. But we'd always try to have those conversations about being good digital citizens whenever we're using our blogs or online on Twitter or anything like that.
I'm excited. I visited with a parent that I've had in my class, or I had her son a couple years ago, and then I had her other son last year, and I had transferred from Blogger to a website, and so I asked her what her thoughts were on that, if she liked better when I did a blog or if she preferred the website, and she said she definitely preferred the blog just because she felt like she knew more about what was happening in the classroom on a weekly basis than the website. She said it wasn't as personable and connected. And so I had asked her, because I knew what Tracy was doing, if what she thought about if I did Twitter on top of that, and she thought that was a great idea. So it's been in the back of my mind, but it's that whole, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew and promise parents that I'm going to be doing something and then not follow through on it 100%. So I was just kind of waiting until I was ready to dive in, and she decided I am. So.
I think that maybe I think I'll be looking at what she has done and really trying to do a lot of what she has done, and I think that'll be a good path for me to follow either way. But I think in the beginning it'll probably be more just me getting information out, and then I'll slowly start pulling the kids to do it.
So social media is a great way to connect with other educators around town, around the state, across the planet. It's kind of a global reach to get those great ideas. Something we've done is the Montana Ed Chat, where we talk with other educators, get ideas on what to do, share links, things like that. So it's really kind of a fun way to connect with people. What have you thought of the Ed Chats? I know you were reluctant at first, a little hesitant.
Twitter was going to be the last thing that I ever did. I refused to do Twitter because I don't care what Kim Kardashian is wearing, but I thought that's what Twitter was. And so when I got on and I saw all these great educational resources and really education-specific people that I could follow, I realized that there was more power to it. But the Montana Ed Chat at first, I was really intimidated because when you're participating in an Ed Chat, the stuff is flying and people are answering questions, and because you only have 140 characters in which to do it, they're short, sweet answers, and they're just boom, 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 boom. So we thought we could maybe do a little tutorial on how that works and some of the platforms we use to do that. But what do you think about the EdChat?
I like EdChat. I love it for networking, but I think it's a starting point to connect with other educators. I don't think it's the end of the professional development, but it's a way to kickstart an idea or maybe even a movement or make a connection. I don't really feel it's extremely in-depth, but it's definitely a starting point and a greeting point, and it gets your mind popping.
And it can be that different level of engagement. You can passively kind of watch the EdChat or what's happening with those posts that you follow, or you can dive right into something and really be quite active. I know some people who use, before they go to anything like Google, they search for hashtags, which are ways to kind of mark a topic. They go to Twitter first and find what's new and relevant and timely. So
that's a good idea,
because then use that as a search engine.
Your colleagues or your network, as Shelley was saying, have already kind of vetted some of those out for you. I also like that idea of making connections.
Montana EdChat, how did you start it, and where did the idea come from?
Started it in February of last year. The idea had come from, years of being on Twitter. I was on Twitter for about 5 years. I am in Missoula, Montana as a professional learning communities coach. I taught 5th grade for about 6 years and 1st grade for a year, and I was a Title I instructional coach for about 4 years. So taking on a new direction to my career, but I like the fact that it's a position that integrates technology into instruction in a meaningful way through PLCs. Like my 5th graders, the first project that we ever did, it actually started before we started our class account. I had my own personal account, but we had literally 2 weeks of indoor recesses because of it being so cold outside. And our playground there turns into a 3-inch sheet of ice, and it's just not safe for the kids to go out. So the kids had known that I was on Twitter because I oftentimes just kind of had it on in the background when I was on our interactive whiteboard when we were doing other things. So one of the kids just said, I wonder how many other kids in the world are stuck inside right now because of indoor recess. And that turned into us asking a question to the world of, tell us where you are and what temperature it is in this moment in time. And we tweeted that out. And when the kids got their results, it was so cool because we just went through the stream and each kid was assigned a place that they had to add to a Google Earth tour. And they just had to put, and so we kind of did a timeline of where the answers were coming in and from where.
Wow.
It was so cool. And
really
same
cool.
thing, so exactly what you're talking about. We don't have this idea, our kids don't have this idea of what the globe is. I had, in February of last year, just gone out to a Google conference out in Coeur d'Alene where we had talked for 2.5 days using the hashtag of GAFECD and being able to have that kind of a live dialogue going for a sustained period of time got me really excited again. So I came back to Montana and just kind of shot the idea out there. Anybody interested in collaborating on a Montana EdChat, start at the Montana EdChat website, which is a Google site. The archives are our past conversations. That kind of gives people a sense of what the hashtag is and how it works by kind of following what we're talking about.
So that'll be kind of a neat way to, broaden our horizons as educators.
Absolutely.
If you would be interested in participating, it's every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and the hashtag is MTEdChat. Want to take part in Montana EdChat but not even sure where to start? Don't worry, I felt the same way. First thing you'll need is a Twitter account. It's easy to sign up and it's easy to get started. The first thing that you'll want to do is find a couple of people locally who you want to follow. Ann Brucker, for example, or BPS-TIS. You can search Twitter by clicking in the search box at the top of the page. You can search by hashtag, by name, by Twitter handle, lots of different ways to find people and topics you're looking for. A tweet is a 140-character statement that you may tag people in using their Twitter handle or topics using a hashtag. You can connect with people directly, as I'm doing with Krista Anderson here. You can reply to tweets. You can retweet something, which is like sharing something that someone else has already tweeted, or you can mark a tweet as a favorite, which is similar to liking in Facebook. In order to participate in an EdChat, you probably don't want to use the actual Twitter forum as it's a little bit hard to keep up with. So we like to use a forum called TweetDeck. TweetDeck is a social media dashboard application for the management of your Twitter account. TweetDeck allows you to customize your Twitter experience to find exactly what you're looking for and to manage all of those accounts and windows and things that are going on in an ed chat. When you first sign into TweetDeck, you'll want to establish what columns you're seeing or what tweets you want to follow. My Tech It Up a Notch hashtag will allow me to see all of the conversations that are going on between members who apply and include the hashtag Tech It Up a Notch. My Montana Ed Chat, my second column, will show me all of the tweet feeds that are going on when those conversations are taking place. I can reply to something someone else has already tweeted. I can retweet something someone else has already tweeted. I can favorite something someone has tweeted, or I can compose my very own tweet. A couple of things to note. When you want to mention someone, you use the @ and their Twitter hashtag. That's how you tag someone by name. If you want to follow a string of posts regarding a certain topic, that's when a hashtag comes in handy. So you'll want to be sure that you include either or a tag with someone using their Twitter handle or a hashtag that will associate your tweet with a conversation. Now don't say I didn't warn you, but when you're taking part in an ed chat, those tweets will come fast and furious. You'll want to keep watching that window to see what people are saying. Feel free to lurk the first time you're there, but as soon as you feel comfortable, jump right into the conversation. One last piece of advice. Remember, you only have 140 characters to say what's on your mind, so abbreviation like T's and S's stand for teachers and students. Watch out for those. They're sneaky. Like TweetDeck, a tweet chat is a live Twitter event, moderated and focused around a general topic, but it filters all the chatter onto Twitter into a single conversation where that hashtag is being used. The thing I like best about this forum is that it already applies the hashtag for you, so you don't have to try to remember to copy and paste it or type it in every time. It also has features like a URL shortener, a way to highlight or block certain tweeters or messages that you see, and a way to share the forum. As a first-time participant in Montana Ed Chat, Tweet Chat might be the best way because it's a little bit less intimidating, as you can see by the screen. So remember, Tuesday nights from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, join us for Montana Ed Chat using hashtag MTEDCHAT. We'll see you there.
And just a shout out maybe to Krista Anderson from Missoula for starting it. Just having the gumption to do it. So that's pretty awesome for her.
And it's also been approved for OPI renewal units. So it's a verified, legitimate thing. It's not just kind of a hop online and have fun and chat.
What do you got going on this week? A lot, don't you?
Yeah, we both do. Well, MEA for sure is pretty exciting for all educators across the state.
Yeah. I have my first Tilt group meeting on Monday. I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
This is the phase 2 group that I started with last year, so I'm really excited to meet with them.
We've got the tech cadre lined up and starting to get that planned out, so be looking for that. We'll have information to share.
Yep, and again, I'm doing a couple of after-school classes next week, so we're constantly planning and posting those, so be on the watch for those on the MEA Trade and through your email.
Yeah.
And then last week, who was our contest winner for the Face of Education?
It was Isaiah Welch.
Woo, Isaiah!
So what we did was we randomly picked a school. Then from that roster, from that school, we randomly picked a teacher. And if that teacher had a face for their email profile and their D2 apps, they got a prize. So congratulations.
And we'll continue to do that.
Absolutely.
We'll get those prizes out for those. And then what were we thinking on our next contest for internet safety? Don't you think?
I think so.
What should we do?
A student created something about internet safety and share it with us.
So
and we can also have a repository then for other teachers to know ideas of how to do some project-based assessment on internet safety with our students.
Lots of ways to approach the topic depending on your grade level and age.
Yep, so they could make a video like Josh's class did, or some posters like Julie Betz's class has done, and there's some other things that you could try to do.
Yeah, Judy Treglone just does little cartoons. Her kids draw little cartoons.
Awesome, so send those our way and we'll have a prize. Okay, and then what are we going to talk about next time?
Ways to connect professionally. So we'll be fresh off of MEA. We just talked about Montana Ed Chat. We'd love to see more of you join in. So if you're there, be sure to give us a mention and let us know you're there. So talking about how to grow and expand and connect professionally.
Great. All right, be safe, you guys.
Be safe on the web.
On the web.